draft Brian Branch at safety. There you go. You have a starter. He's an instant starter on defense. Bing, bang, bang, boom. Starter. Then you get your 30th pick. You get the second-round pick from New Orleans next year. You get the pick you just traded for. You trade him away. You get up to like 16, 17, 15, somewhere in there. And then you take Bijan Robinson. Boom! You have another starter. Instant. Now you have 2 instant starters in the draft. I like it. This is beautiful. This is genius. This is Howie Roseman. Like, Dallas still stinks. You're by the way, King Dingbat here, and I hope everybody's having a great day. Hope you guys are doing well. Hope you're hanging in there. So the Eagles are in need of a safety. We definitely know that. They signed one earlier in the week, but we know they are not done yet. What is this team going to do at safety? And is this where Howie Roseman is getting ready to make his big move? Because I'm telling you, you know Howie is going. God, he's got something planned. No question about it. It's just a matter of what is it? That's the real question. But before we get into this video, if you're new to the channel and you like the content, make sure you hit that like button. More importantly, make sure you subscribe for Eagles videos every day, full coverage of the draft, free agency. You are looking not only at a Denzel Washington lookalike, but this is the most censored, most throttled Eagles content creator in all of the internet, and you definitely don't want to miss what happens next. And if you've been subscribed for a while, thank you so much for joining the Dingbat Nation, joining the family. You are now made, and that means you can never get out. You're stuck here for life with this beautiful face. All right, but thank you for all your supports. Now, before we get too far in this video, there was a little bit of news last night that came out late after my last video, and that is that the Eagles brought in somebody for a visit. Keanu Neal. You guys remember him? He dropped a big interception in that wild card game. Well, not wild card, but divisional round versus the Atlanta Falcons. You remember Foles should have thrown it. He dropped it. And that turned out to be big in that playoff game. No question about it. But Keanu Neal, a guy that's played safety and has played linebacker, looking for a new home, 28 years old. And the Eagles may bring him in. I don't think it would be a bad signing, not necessarily. I think they could use somebody like him if it isn't, if it isn't the only move. If that's the only move you do and you say, all right, he's playing safety now, I don't think that would be good. But if you want to bring him in as a depth piece, maybe to add a little veteran leadership as he goes probably between linebacker and safety, I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. But nonetheless, he came in, and we'll see what happens. As of right now, tonight, or when this video is being made, it's actually in the morning, but he is still not signed or anything. He just came in for a visit. Secondly, I thought this was interesting, right? There was a trade. It was yardbarker.com I was reading, and they had a proposal, and it was the Eagles and the Titans trading. Once again, we knew how the first one went, but the Eagles trading to get Kevin Byard. Now, he's being considered, somebody who is most likely gone. Whether the Titans can trade him or not is the big question. And I think that's ultimately the big question in this whole thing. Hold on. No wonder I couldn't think. Now we're good to go. There we go. Paulie Walnuts would be proud. All right, so Kevin Byard, most likely he's gone. He's leaving the Titans. The Titans are going to try to trade him. Will somebody bite on him and take up his contract? He is the second highest paid safety in the National Football League. So I don't know if somebody's going to be able to take on his contract. I don't know that the Eagles could take on his contract. So you would need him to be cut, and then you would have a chance. But this was interesting. It was Yardbarker, and they had the Eagles trading with the Titans. Now, they had two scenarios. One of them is absolutely horrible. The other one is a little bit better. But I wanted to go over these and give you my thoughts on this trade because, these things are always interesting. Sometimes I don't get them, though. You know what I mean? So here's what they said. They said, what would it take for the Eagles to acquire him? If the Titans are going to embark on a rebuild, the Eagles have a ton of draft capital spare to make a deal, okay? they can get uber aggressive, talking about the Eagles, and they can offer one of their 2 first-round picks they own in the 2023 NFL Draft, almost forcing the Titans' hand by offering a premium selection. If the Eagles offered a first-round pick for him, I would be pissed off. I would be absolutely pissed. I do not want the Eagles to trade a soon-to-be 30-year-old safety, trade for a 30-year-old safety and give up a first-round pick. Do not do it. Do not do it, okay? There's another move. If you're going to go safety and we're willing to give up a first-round pick for safety, then I would do something else, okay? And I'll talk about that in a second. But they said another route would be the Eagles could go quantity over quality approach. And I don't know what that means, but Philadelphia can offer the extra 7th-round pick they have in 2023 NFL Draft. Like they would want that. Along with a 2024 second-rounder via the New Orleans Saints and a 4th or 5th round, depending on the conditions, via the Minnesota Vikings. Listen, I think if you... I don't even know if I want to give up a 2nd-round pick for a 30-year-old safety. That is expensive. Because, one, how are the Eagles going to afford him? He would be the 2nd highest paid player on the Eagles team if the Eagles were to trade for him. I don't see how the Eagles can... And listen, Kevin Byard is my number 1 target for the Eagles at safety. But I don't see how the Eagles can do it with the trade. Unless he was to rip his contract up and redo a whole new one. I think the Eagles have to wait for Byard to be cut. Now, what I'm hoping happens, and I think this often happens more than not, is when a team has a guy that really they have to either cut or trade. Teams will not give you anything. They're not going to give the Titans a lot for this kid. Nobody's going to give the Titans a 1st-round pick for him. Nobody's going to give the Titans a 2nd-round pick for him. This trade is a little bit good. Both scenarios stink. I just wanted to point that out. I think they both stink. I don't think the Eagles would have to give that much up. And why would you? You got to eat all that money. You have to give up a 2nd-round pick or a 1st-round pick, and then you have to get multiple round picks for a 30-year-old safety. You're going to have to pay a ton of money. Forget about it. Forget about it. I ain't doing that. No. Kevin Byard should be the number 1 priority when he gets cut. When he gets cut, then you make a run for him. You make a play for him. You get him to talk with the Eagles, try to sell him on the fact that you're going to win, and maybe you can get him for a year, and he can play towards another contract. There's no way I would do either one of those scenarios. I think it's worse and worser, to be quite honest with you. Just my opinion, okay? Now, if the Eagles were willing to trade a 1st-round pick for Kevin Byard, I say, the hell with that. The hell with that. What you got to do is you might as well just go draft Brian Branch. All right? I love this kid. I've been watching a lot of him over the last few days, and I absolutely love him. 6 foot, 190 pounds, junior. Good against the pass, good against the run. I think this guy is a top 15 pick. And listen, if you're not going to take a defensive... If you're in a situation where... of course, Will Carter Jr. will be gone. And let's say Jalen Carter's gone. And he may be the pick. I can't see the Eagles going cornerback, right? You're not going to go corner with Bradbury signed and Slay signed. Not when you have that empty hole at safety. You could sit there at 10 and take him. Or, and I'm not big on trading back, but maybe in this scenario it will work. If you trade back a few spots, you take Brian Branch, you pick up an extra pick, you get that extra pick, you get your 30th pick overall, you get your 2nd-round pick next year, you move back up to 15, 16, and then you take, Bijan Robinson. So you come away with the draft with Brian Branch and Bijan Robinson. I love the idea. This is it. The only way I trade back, this is my new trade back thing. The only way I'm trading back, and this is breaking right now, right on here, we're talking about it now because I'm just thinking of this, I'm just deciding that I like this. This is the only way I would trade back. Trade back 2-3 spots, pick up an extra pick in the 2023 draft. Draft Brian Branch at safety. There you go. You have a starter. He's an instant starter on defense. Bing, bang, bang, boom. Starter. Then you get your 30th pick. You get the second round pick from New Orleans next year. You get the pick you just traded for. You trade them away. You get up to like 16, 17, 15, somewhere in there. And then you take Bijan Robinson. Boom! You have another starter, instant. Now you have 2 instant starters in the draft. I like it. This is beautiful. This is genius. This is Howie Roseman. I love it. That's the only way I'm trading back. The only way I trade back is a situation like that. I ain't going past 15. I ain't going past 13. Just a few spots. Make sure I get Brian Branch. And you can do that. I wouldn't touch Byard if I have to trade any of those picks. First round or second round. I'll just take Brian Branch. I'll draft him. And then you know what? We'll see what happens. But if I get Brian Branch and Bijan Robinson, well, now I've gotten 2 starters out of this first round, which I said, you got to come away with 2 impact players this draft. You need 2 impact guys, 2 starters. Bijan Robinson, Brian Branch would be perfect. Now, this is to say if Jalen Carter doesn't fall, because Jalen Carter falls to 10, I'm staying there, I'm taking him. You know, I think you have to go defensive line if you have the chance at 10. Then you trade up for the running back. But the Eagles are going to have to do something with safety. Why not? And listen, the problem with the safety, too, is the Eagles don't draft first-round picks. See, we talk about the running back situation. Now, the Eagles don't draft running backs. The Eagles don't draft running backs in the first round, but they don't draft safeties in the first round either. They're gonna have to do one or the other or both because you need starters. You would get an instant starter at safety and an instant starter at running back. It's genius. I like it. I hope the Eagles do it. Forget that stupid Kevin Byard trade that they put out. I would not give up that much for him. With that said, take care. I will definitely talk to you later. Don't be a dingbat. Remember, it's Howie Vision. We're all just living in it. I have heard no updates on Kelly Green. I've heard no updates. I know it's coming this year, but I'm saying, dude, I usually do one of my Kelly Green videos this time of year. I don't know if the Eagles forgot or whatever, but my hope is that they release and announce these Kelly Greens soon. Start selling them now so we can start buying it up before the season. I don't want to wait till right before the season starts. Let's get it going on now. It's time to release Kelly Green for Philly 500. Denzel Washington out.